All right, for the second part of statistics, we are going to be looking at different statistical displays. The first one that we're going to look at is line plots. So line plots are a distribution of data values where each data value is shown as a dot or an X above a number line. So it looks something like this, okay? You may be familiar with these. You've probably seen something like this before. We are going to look at actually analyzing the data given a line plot. So we also included this chart up here that you might remember from our inequalities unit that's going to help you with these questions, these analyzing questions. So come back to it to check what are these words talking about. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So problem 1, Mrs. Williams asked her students how many projects they had this trimester. The results are shown below. So how many students had more than 4 projects? Well, first thing, I'm going to circle this number that's given to us of 4, and I'm going to highlight the keyword, more than. So I'm going to look at my chart up here, more than, where do I see the word more than? I see more than here, it's talking about greater than. So those are values that are going to the right, they're bigger than the value. So we want to know numbers that are more than 4. So we're not including 4, and we're not including anything less than that. So how many students had projects that were more than 4? 1, 2, 3 students. Part B, what was the most amount of projects a student had? So these numbers are representing how many projects the students had. So 3 students had 1, 4 students had 2, 3 students had 3, 2 students had 4, 1 student had 5, 2 students had 6. So the most amount of projects that one individual student had was 6. That's the highest number in our data set. What response was given the most? So which one has the most X's? What did most students have? The one that has the most amount, that's our mode, the most common. I'm going to highlight that kind of, right? The most common is 2. There were 4 students that had 2. So 2 is the response that was given the most often. How many students had 2, I'm going to circle that, or less projects? 2 or less. Okay? So 2 or less is kind of the same thing as saying it's equal to 2 or it's less than that. So that's our less than or equal to, which means that 2 is included in the answer and anything less than that. So 3, 4, 5, 6, that's not included. 2 projects or anything less than that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students. All right, the last part it asks, are there any outliers in the data set? So do we see any gaps? So like if I saw a gap and then I saw something like over here. Yes, this would kind of be an outlier because it's not included with the rest of the data. Since they're all right next to each other, they're all basically the same, no, there's no outliers, and I'm going to say not applicable because there wasn't any outliers. Now let's look at one more example. So, the daily high temperature in for Vernon Hills in the month of May are listed below. How many days was the temperature recorded? So remember, each X is representing a day and the temperature there. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 total X's, so 18 days where the temperature was recorded. How many days had a temperature of at least 70? So I'm going to circle my number here. I'm going to highlight the word at least. And then I'm going to look at my chart. At least, where do I see that word? I see it here with greater than or equal to. So it's including that number and anything bigger, anything to the right. Remember, this looks like an arrow pointing to the right. This looks like an arrow to the left. This looks like an arrow to the left. This looks like an arrow to the right. So we're going to find 70. That is included in our answer and anything greater than that. So we're going to count all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 total. For C, how many days had a temperature of 73 degrees or less? So I'm going to circle our number here. It's this amount or less. So if remember, we had one like that on the last problem. By saying 73 degrees or less, that's kind of like saying equal to 73 or less than that. So the 73 is included, and anything smaller than that is included. So I'm going to find 73. We're counting this, and then anything smaller, anything to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What temperature occurred most often? So which temperature has the most, so it's like our mode, the most x's. So if I look, I see that 72 has the most. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that did that. So 72 degrees is the temperature that occurred the most often. Are there any outliers in the data set? So do we see a number that's way higher or way less than the rest? Yeah. Down here, this is way further away from this. This data is kind of clustered together. There's a huge gap in between the 16. So yes, and the number is 60.